Good evening. Are we ready to start?
Brooks, yes, I'm ready.
All
I'm
right,
ready.
hopefully everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda. I don't think it's going to be a long meeting. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call, starting with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
Young present.
Commissioner Henderson.
Commissioner Henderson ready. Present. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Wheatley present.
Commissioner Gibbons present.
Brooks at large present.
Thank you. All right. So I guess we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I didn't think we did those for special meetings, but we can go ahead.
No, we don't do it for special.
I didn't think so. We're going to skip that. So again, hopefully everyone had a chance to look at the agenda. First up is motion to suspend the rules because we need to take a vote in this special meeting. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Some moved as read. Gibbons.
Brooks second.
Thank you. Commissioner Gibbons made the motion. Commissioner Brooks made the second. Those in favor, please say aye, starting with Ward 1.
Young I.
Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Gibbons, aye.
Brooks aye.
Motion passes. There are no nays or abstentions. We have suspended the rules for this special meeting. Next up is the little library with the 2 locations. This is a request made by the Garden. They would like to use some of their ARPA funds to build 2 little libraries in town. One is located at the Garden itself, and the other one would be somewhere near the top lot. We currently have one little library in front of the town hall. If you've ever seen one or haven't seen one, it's one at the town hall. So is there any discussion for this request made by the Garden?
Brooks none for me.
We'll start with Ward 1. Go ahead, Commissioner Young.
I don't have any discussion. I think it's a good idea. They're nice little things. As long as, good books are put in them.
Ward 2?
Henderson has no discussion on it. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley, no discussion. I support it. Ward 4?
Gibbons, no discussion. I support it.
At large?
Brooks, no discussion. I support it as well. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Holtzen, you have a consensus from the 5 commissioners. We approve the request.
Very well. Thank you so much. I will let them know.
All right. Next up is approval of emergency ordinance 2025-01. Mr. Holtzen, you have the floor.
Yes, this is an emergency ordinance to address the confidentiality that we've been addressing. We first off did it as a resolution, and now we've merged it into an emergency ordinance to address some issues that we've been having with confidentiality and the leaking of some things. So we're trying to address it by now having it as an emergency ordinance. And I'm happy to read it into the record, and then we can move forward from there. So it is as follows. Let me gather that for you. It is the Cottage City Commission, Town of Cottage City, Emergency Ordinance number 2025-01. An emergency ordinance amending Chapter 15, Public Ethics Ordinance, Section 15-6, Disclosure and Use of Confidential Information of the Code of the Town of Cottage City, introduced by the Town of Cottage City Commission. So this ordinance, if you all pass it this evening, it will go into effect immediately. It will be published in a newspaper of general circulation, and we'll go from there. But I leave it open to your discussion.
All right, you read it into the record, right?
I did.
Any discussion starting with Ward 1?
Yeah, I have several comments. The whereases aren't quite as important, but I do have a couple of comments on those. On the fourth whereas at the very end, it says, and in addition, the town has the right to withhold records if it is determined that disclosure of those records would be contrary to the public interest. I think that's overly broad. That if you withhold disclosure, it needs to meet some kind of reasonable definition of confidential, and that doesn't. Then let's see. I also had some questions about the wording of the next to last, whereas it's not entirely clear, but since that's not part of the actual proposed bill, I'll leave that at this point. The definition of personal information under section 15.-6B refers to public personal information as defined in 4-101 of the General Practice Article of the Maryland Annotated Code. Then down in subsection D, it says private email accounts shall not be used to routinely transact public business by town officials and employees if they are made or received by an official or employee in connection with the transaction of town business. Email communications from or to private email accounts and text messages stored or archived on the cottage on private devices are public records. Then, unless expressly authorized by the Cottage City Commission in writing, an official or employee of the town may not forward, share, or archive confidential town emails to their private email accounts, private electronic devices, or the private email.
Commissioner Young, can I interrupt you for one quick second? Mr. Holston, can you please bring the document up on the screen? I would like to see where Commissioner Young is reading. Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner
Let me
Young.
get that for you, one moment.
Thank you. Commissioner Young, you have the floor.
Stop share.
Okay, my main comment here, well, a couple of them. One, I've read up some on how different states define public information and confidential information, and Maryland does very little to define it very clearly, which is unfortunate, because it leaves a lot of things open to interpretation. Mr. Best and I have disagreed about whether certain things would fall under confidential information. And I'm sure a lot of other lawyers would too. The way Maryland has gone about defining what's confidential information is through cases, not through defining it in its law. Other states, they refer to records relating to hiring, discipline, promotion, dismissal, or any other matter involving an employee's status. I'm trying to avoid referring to anything that would that Mr. Best and others might consider to be confidential. But because there is such vagueness and disagreement and much potential disagreement about what things would be considered confidential, I must strongly object to a certain phrase in subsection 1E, that says any elected or appointed official who is uncertain as to whether certain information is confidential should consult the town manager or, if appropriate, the town attorney. The town manager is not qualified in any way to define what is confidential. And the phrase the town manager or, if appropriate, should be stricken. If anyone wants to get advice on whether something is confidential, the town attorney is the only one who has the appropriate qualifications to give advice on that. Certainly not the town manager. So I guess that's the only, I could nitpick about some of the wording and some of the other parts of it. I think this, Kevin, I think this is much better than the last draft, but that particular provision I think is very, very inappropriate. And I could go into some of the aspects of the Maryland law. I mean, the Maryland Public Information Act doesn't even define what personnel records are. In indicating the types of documents that are covered, it says applications, performance ratings, scholastic achievement information. It does reflect, I'm quoting here, it does reflect the legislative intent that personnel records means those documents that directly pertain to employment and an employee's ability to perform a job. Includes records relating to hiring, discipline, promotion, dismissal, or any other matter involving an employee's status. This is from the Maryland Attorney General. And I could go on, but as I said, my main issue is the reference to appointed officials consulting with the town manager on what constitutes confidential. He's not a lawyer. He's not qualified to give advice on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. I think it's a little biased for you to say he, because the town manager could be a she or a he. It's just a town manager position. Thank you, because
Correct.
it sounds like you're pointing to a specific individual.
No, I'm talking about anyone who's not.
Mr. Henderson, you have the floor.
Let me just clarify. I'm
You
talking
don't have
about
to
anyone
clarify,
who's not
you
a
did.
lawyer.
We got it. Mr. Henderson, you have the floor.
Yeah, I have any questions that, it seems okay to me. Everything, I have any questions, no questions about it, but it's okay. I give
Thank
back
you.
the floor.
Thank you. I have no questions or comments. Commissioner Givens?
Town manager is the custodian of records on behalf of the town. That's why you consult with that person. However, if there's any ambiguity in that, in your consultation, you do have the right, as it states simply in the written phrase there, to consult with the town attorney. The town manager, again, is the custodian of records for the town of Cottage City. So with that said, I don't see any necessary issue that arises here. It doesn't stipulate or deter you from reaching out to the attorney if you particularly disagree. They don't have the final word. They're just the person who is there to give an understanding of what's the policy of the town. Just like any other policy, you would take it up with the town manager, and then if you have issues with that beyond that, you could forward it to the town manager, to the town attorney. So I yield back in regards to, and I have no issues other than the statement I made. I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. At large, Commissioner Brooks?
No, I have no objection with this, and I don't really think anything's going to be done to resolve it for one individual. We just need to put it on the floor. Will you entertain a motion?
I will definitely entertain a motion.
I can't read it out because I'm driving. Is there any way John could read it out and then I could make the motion?
Mr. Holson?
Yes. we'd like to make a motion to approve emergency ordinance number 2025-01, the emergency ordinance amending chapter 15, the public ethics ordinance, section 15-6, disclosure and use of confidential information of the code of the town of Cottage City.
So I make the motion.
Commissioner
Givens, I
Brooks,
second.
Henderson second.
okay, so Commissioner Brooks made the motion. I believe Commissioner Givens made the second prior to you, Commissioner Henderson. So we're gonna have him be recorded as the second for the motion, and then we'll go to the vote. So we'll start with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
No,
Commissioner
Henderson,
Young
aye.
is recorded as nay. Commissioner Henderson,
Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, I.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 nay. There was no abstentions. All right, so we did the emergency ordinance. Okay, public comments. Are there any public comments at this time?
Don't think there's any public on.
Wow, okay. All right, well, if there's no public attendance and the motion has passed, we have nothing else on the agenda. We can adjourn at 6:46.
Make a motion to adjourn. Givens.
Brooks, I'll second.
Okay, so Commissioner Givens made the motion to adjourn at 6:46. Commissioner Brooks made the second. It is now 6:47. Call for the vote. Those in favor to adjourn, please say aye. We'll start with Ward 1.
I guess if there's nothing else.
That's the end of the agenda. Commissioner Henderson,
Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, I.
Sorry.
Brooks, aye. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.